Hi, this is Hannah, and thank you for stopping by. If you are a new visitor, I hope that you will hit the like and subscribe button and that you will come back to visit again. If you are a returning visitor, thank you so much for coming back, and I hope you find something in this project that you like. On my challenge blog, A Place to Start, our theme this month is something new. And I have two new items that I'm going to use on my card. One is this packet of retro journaling papers. These papers are nice. They have all the variety you could ever hope for. If you create journal pages, you will love these sheets. There are 160 sheets, and no two sheets are the same. The other new item that I'm going to be using is this adorable um, tea die. It's a sentiment die, and it has teapots and a teapot and cookie jar and a couple of tea kettles and a spoon on it. And so I really, really like it. It's a nice die. I was unsure at first because it has a lot of decorative cutting holes in the teapots and the cups. But once I cut it, I realized that I could deal with that, so it wasn't that big an issue. I am going to cut three of these. Two are going to be in the white paper, and then I'm going to cut one in a designer series paper because I want to break up all the white. But I do want the sentiment, the words themselves to be white, but I want the tea accessories. I want to cut them from a paper that's going to correspond with the card stock colors that I plan on using, which are brown and sort of a burnt orange. So this is what the cut looks like. It's a really nice die cut, and I cut this from a relatively thick piece of cardstock, and I was going to double it up, might put one on top of the other just to give it a little more stability, but with this cardstock I don't think I'm going to have to do that. So I cut out two of the dies. I gave it two pass-throughs to get a good cut, and it did cut all the detail. So the only things that didn't show up, and I think it didn't show up because I did not run this back through using, to get the embossing on it, was on this tin right here. It's supposed to say biscuit because, well, that's British for cookie. So this is the cookie jar, and it was supposed to say biscuit. So that didn't come through. And then down here, the word nice is not coming through. But I think it's just that I need to take my impressions sheet, that you put on for embossing. And right now I can't think of the name of what it's called. I don't use it so often. But I'll try that later on. I'll just stick this one back on and run it through and see what happens. And this was supposed to say nice, as I said, but I have a bunch of Christmas stamps, and they have naughty and nice all over them. So I think I'm going to just find one of those and stamp nice on. But all of the detail is there, and it's good. And what I decided to do, I ran the dye through a patterned paper that I had that has this sort of burnt orange color in it, because I thought that would be cute and it would break up the white. So I'm pleased with how that looks. And I'm also going to put a frame around here, but I wanted to get everything sort of nailed down first. So I have this really pretty journal paper, and I wanted to use it behind my main panel. So I just took some Distress Oxide ink in those same colors, and I've put down the spice marmalade, and now I want to use the rusty hinge to just pull in a little darker color just in spots, because I've already got the spice marmalade on there. And this will just darken it up a little bit in places, and that pulls in both my colors. I like the dye because you can be very creative with it. I had some tea dyes, but nothing that's just a font, just a plain font. So, okay. So when I put all of this together, it will have this sheet, and then this will be on top of it. And then it's all going to go on top of the white card. I actually wanted to have this brown for the card base, but I didn't have any paper thick enough for that, so I decided to put it on the white. But I think even on the white, it still looks good. So that's the mock-up, and I think that looks pretty good. All right, so I'll get everything glued down and we'll see what we have. And so hooray, hooray, I was able to rifle through some of my papers, and I found like 4 sheets of a heavy brown cardstock. And so I was delighted. Now I can set this card up the way that I want it, because I really wanted a brown base. So I don't know how any of this is going to look when I get done with it. I'm still going to use the cream, but just not as the base layer. So I'm going to just keep playing around with it. Obviously, I'm speeding up the video so you don't have to sit through the whole tedious process. But this is generally what I go through when I'm trying to get cards. I normally don't have a plan. The plan develops as I go along. But I like this. I think this is going to be the final configuration. The card is going to be a little bigger than I originally anticipated, but that's okay, because I think it needs a lot of real estate. And I normally don't do cards that are larger than A2 unless I'm doing a slim line or something. But I'm starting to appreciate you doing larger cards and being able to use more layers, because I think the layers give you more room for creativity, unless you're just working on a CAS design, which this isn't. So I'm just sort of eyeballing these measurements because I had to adjust my paper, so I'm narrowing everything down. But I think it's going to look good when I'm done. So here's my finished card using the die. There's always time for tea. Now you can cut this die with using colored papers and you'll get a different effect. I added my designer series paper, and that gives it a different look. So I am happy with this die. I can work around the one thing I don't like, which is all of these cut holes that I think probably should have been non-cutting elements, but in this particular case, you can argue it's just a design on the die, and you can do some things with it. You know, in my donut, I placed a little flat back pearl here, a little crystal in my in the center of my cookie, and I'm going to put a little white liquid pearls on the top here of my tea kettle, just to break that up just a little bit, and then a little bit here on the top of my cookie jar, because they have little knobs at the top, and I'm just going to hit those with a little white liquid pearls, and this is going to be good to go. Now this die was obviously a promotional item for me, so it was free, but even if I had paid for the die, I would keep it. I mean, I wouldn't send it back. I normally don't push products on my channel, I mean, except for my Amazon favorites, because I have to do those reviews in return for the promotional items. But these are two items that, if you have the bandwidth, I would suggest that you give them a try, particularly the retro papers. They are just gorgeous. And I also love this die, and I'm looking forward to playing with it, like maybe cutting it out of gold paper and then adding another layer of designer series paper, or decorating the tea kettles and the cups. I think it'll be a fun exercise. Okay, well, that's it for this session. Thank you so much for stopping by. Before you leave, please remember to hit the like button. And if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Bye.